And people were like, do you want him in the hospital room when you're giving birth? And it was my first baby. And I said, I do.
Khloé Kardashian is sharing new details about welcoming her daughter with Tristan Thompson. During her January 29th episode of her podcast, Khloe in Wonderland, the 40-year-old sits down with guest Mel Robbins to discuss her decision to let Tristan Thompson stay in the delivery room while welcoming her daughter True, just 48 hours after learning that he cheated on her. Mel brings up the moment by asking Khloe how she dealt with the public reaction of Tristan's cheating scandal.
Well, the crazy thing is I would draw back to the feelings I had with Lamar, Lamar was my first husband, where I would say, okay, like I knew how to deal with this media scandal, and I was in Cleveland, Ohio, so like, let me just stay here for a little bit because that's where I gave birth. And I just sort of knew to stay away from the noise, which LA has a lot of noise. Stayed away from my phone, but I would say the biggest was I had a brand new baby, and I definitely isolated. I never left my house for a few months. I was just with her. I built this little cocoon for her and I, and it was the most magical experience. I was in denial, like about all the noise. I didn't want to pay attention to it. Not in denial. I just didn't want to focus on it.
You didn't give power to it.
I didn't give power to it. And
that's the key.
And that is the key.
She continues, explaining that she didn't give power to the situation and other people's opinions, including her own family members.
But it's interesting because people who don't, and it wasn't intentional, I didn't know. I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing this. And I remember when Tristan had an affair, it was public, and I gave birth 48 hours later. And people were like, do you want him in the hospital room when you're giving birth? And it was my first baby. And I said, I do. And we're all going to pretend, because of course I had to have all my siblings in the room and my mom. And I said, it's going to be hard for you guys, but let's all act like this didn't happen, because my daughter's going to see this home footage one day. Oh. And I don't want her to ever to know I was thinking for my daughter, True.
Khloe goes on to explain what it's like reflecting on that moment and what she realizes from watching it back.
And I get sad if I ever see myself, because I can tell I'm blank and it's an out-of-body experience. I just went into autopilot, and I just went into, I'm not here. I was not present, but my body was there. I gave birth. I did what I have to do, but it was for her. I thought of her, and I was like, for her memories, I want her to know her dad was in the room. And then when it was done, he went along I was like, I can't talk to you, but like when I put my home camera down, but I made sure to do what I needed to do for her.
In addition to their daughter True, Khloe and Tristan also share 2-year-old son Tatum.